Hey, this is Renee with the Traveling Grannies. Recently, we visited the Billy Graham Museum just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. It is a beautiful tribute to a man and his wife that gave so many years to the gospel of Jesus Christ and carrying it all over the world. When you first get there, you go through a gate and they instruct you where you go to park. And the first thing you see is the home place. Now, the home place is not where it used to be. They moved that home from where it used to be to where it sits at now onto the grounds. It was moved brick by brick, which I think is really interesting to me. When you go inside, the furniture and things that are in there are some of the original furniture, original wallpaper. Some of the dishes are original that are sat on the table, the kitchen. There's a little office which has the original old typewriter that they used in their dairy business. It was just a beautiful home, and you could really just feel the presence in that home. It was just wonderful. The people that were there that guide you around are just extremely nice people. When you exit out the back, you go and you look at a big barn. It's kind of shaped like a dairy barn because they were dairy farmers. And the unique thing about this building is that when you're looking at it, it is a huge cross on the front that's made of glass. And when you enter into the building, you enter down at the foot of the cross, which is the glass open doors, which, as they say, everyone comes in through the foot of the cross. I really thought that was very interesting. When you get inside and you look to the right, there is a dairy barn, like it would be if you were going to milk cows. And there is a cow there. Her name is Bessie. And she talks to you and moves and she sings a song and she talks about what it was like to be around when Billy Graham was small and growing up. The next area you go into, you sit on some bleachers and they show you a small little clip about his life. Then the doors open and you go into a maze of rooms. And one of the first rooms you go into and you can hear the radio broadcast is when he went into doing his first tent revival. And it's shaped like a tent, and you go in and you sit on the benches just like you would have in a regular tent revival. And from there you go into another room and it shows how they met and pictures from their wedding, like wedding dress and different things like that. She actually, which I thought was really interesting, was from parents of a Chinese missionaries, and they met when she came back to the States, and then they fell in love and they were married, and then she and him carried the gospel, all over the world. They showed pictures of their children, pictures of their grandchildren, and then you can go into another room and it talks about how he went all over the country, the globe, and it has different holograms from people from all over the world, speaking in their language and what an impact he had. It also has a section on the Berlin Wall where when you go in, you're actually think that you are looking at the Berlin Wall and how it's being tore down, and the soldiers that are there from whenever, trying to be sure that everyone was protected, and how he was able to get into Russia to speak when others were not. And also it showed a clip of the Russian soldiers singing a hymn, which really to me was just so moving because you wouldn't have thought that. When you leave out of that room, you go into another room. He was able to see and to speak to so many dignitaries. It listed all the different presidents that he had spoken to, has pictures of them up all over, showing the ones that he, spoke to. I did not realize he had spoke to that many different presidents. But it goes through all of his life, and then at the end, it shows another small clip, and it actually presents the gospel. You can't leave from there saying that you've not heard the gospel because it is done in such a wonderful way. And they even have an area for children where they do book readings for children. They even have a prayer room that when you come out, if you feel that you need someone to pray with you, they will pray with you. There's a small little area that's private and they can go in and they are happy to pray with you. They're extremely nice there. When you come out, you're coming into what they call Ruth's Attic, which is a bookstore. Has all kinds of things from tote bags to flags to books to Bibles, Christmas ornaments, everything you would want just about. You can get from there. And take your time sitting and reading and looking at some of the items. They have a children's section as well as an adult section. They even have a replica of the pulpit that you can stand behind if you wanted to get your picture made behind the pulpit that he, spoke out of. Then beside of that is a dairy bar. Actually, you can go and get sandwiches and some ice cream and a drink, and just sit there, and there's pictures all over about his life throughout the little booths that you sit at, and just take your time and look around and just, enjoy it. Then you go outside into the memorial garden or the prayer garden. There's the benches out there that you can sit and just, kind of reflect. Their graves are also there. They are nothing elaborate. To me, it was just a wonderful representation of what he was. He was a very humble person, and the graves are that way. They are stone slabs in the grass, laid flat. I've got some pictures. I'll put those in. And just a humbling experience. The other thing, if you walk around the corner, which I thought was just a great tribute, George Beverly Shea, that sang with him, is there. The Barrows that were also the first three, the Barrows and George Beverly Shea, that were with him in his revivals and crusades that he did. The family allowed them to be buried there on the memorial grounds. So, the five of them that started together, the five of them ended together. And I thought that was just a great tribute to the five of them. And again, their graves are the very same. Nothing elaborate, just plain. And it just, to me, I enjoyed it. I could really just feel the humbleness there. And to know that everything that is being done with his life, who he was, it's all to further the gospel, not to further his name, but to further the gospel. And I just had a great time. If you are ever near Charlotte area, it is well worth being able to go and see it. I do not think you will be disappointed. We had an amazing time. So I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to our trip to the Billy Graham Museum. And again, I hope you do check it out. And if you like the videos, please click subscribe and hit the like button, and we'll see you again in the next video.